What is going on, Tenant Crew? Billy the Squid here, and I am just here to bring a little bit of holiday cheer because luckily for us in the Soulsborne community, Christmas is not going to be canceled this year. We finally have confirmation that Return to Lordran will be happening this year, all due to the wonderful work by FromSoftware and Bandai Namco at getting the Dark Souls servers back online. But unfortunately, there is a catch. I wanted to wait a little bit to make this video just because my time management skills aren't the best in the world right now, and also because with the prior PC server fixes, they had a little bit of an issue of going back down shortly after, even if it was for a short period of time. But I think it has been long enough to positively confirm that both Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, and Dark Souls Remastered are all back online and will be back online for the foreseeable future. This is all very, very good news, especially for people that wanted to go back to these games for, say, the Return to Lordran or Return to Drangleic or Return to Lothric events. That will be coming up, and we already have confirmation that Return to Lordran has a new date since it was delayed. It is now going to be January 6th, 2023 to January 20th, 2023. This is all very exciting. If Dark Souls 1 is one of your favorite games, now you in the PC community should be able to have that joy again, as we do every year, going back and playing through Dark Souls 1 like it was our first time. Oh, the days. I'm hoping everybody can finally go back and relive those fond memories of you going into Dark Souls 1 completely unprepared, getting invaded for the first time, not knowing what was going on, assuming that it was an NPC of some type. But then after they murked you with their plussed out Lightning Zweihander, that's when you realized this is the true Dark Souls experience. Welcome to Dark Souls. Anecdotes aside, this is the perfect opportunity for both old and new players to make Lordran feel alive again. So January 6th to 20th would be your best opportunity if you are a new player to the Souls series. Maybe Elden Ring was your very first Souls game. You enjoyed it so much that you want to go back and try out the other games. This would be your perfect opportunity. A lot of people think that these events are just for the sweaty PvP tryhards to come out and flex on each other, but no, the co-op community always comes out extremely strong in these events. So if this is your first experience and you want to have the true Dark Souls PvP co-op experience, please try to save these dates, get online a little bit, maybe start a new character if you are a veteran player, and help out some newbies that might be coming through Lordran for the very first time. I myself am just happy that this video I made, hoping and begging FromSoftware and Bandai Namco to get these servers back online for these events, aged extremely well, and we are actually going to be able to have the PC component to the Dark Souls fandom be invested and involved in these events. But there is a slight catch with these things. With every good, there is always a little bit of bad, and it seems like Bandai Namco and FromSoftware have determined that this is the perfect opportunity for them to finally drop the guillotine on the original Dark Souls. They will not be bringing those servers back online, so the only way you're going to be able to play the original Dark Souls for Return to Lordran is through Dark Souls Remastered. Luckily, they kind of laid the groundwork out prior to this ever coming out, like years prior. They actually removed the original Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition from the Steam marketplace after Dark Souls Remastered came out because they wanted to try to funnel the player base from that game into Dark Souls Remastered. And unfortunately, it kind of backfired because there are a lot of modders out there that have made the Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition an extremely good version of the game to play. There's a lot of quality of life mods, there's a lot of PvP mods, there's a lot of multiplayer stuff. There are just a lot of things going on with that version of the game, and to not be able to get access to that easily anymore was kind of a Debbie Downer. But like I said, if you had the original version of the game, you did get the remastered version, and you still kept your Prepare to Die edition, so you're kind of grandfathered into it in that case. But it still did kind of segment off the community with some of them sticking to the original formula and others going to the remaster. And I genuinely feel bad for anybody that had worked and put a lot of time investment into the Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition, especially on the multiplayer front, because the PvE mods and stuff are still going to be alive and well. But the PvP mods that have come out with that, it feels really bad that they're going to kind of get left to the wayside now that those servers are forever going to be down. Maybe a community server will open up for the Prepare to Die edition. Who knows? This community is extremely resilient with change, so I am hopeful for that, but I still don't think it is going to ever truly come back the way that it did before. And speaking of not coming back, the only version of these games that has not had an official confirmation from or Bandai Namco is the original Dark Souls 2. I have seen a few threads out there that are saying that Dark Souls 2's OG servers will be brought back. But I am semi-doubtful on that given what they did with the original Prepare to Die Dark Souls 1. I think that they're probably going to use this as an opportunity to funnel everybody to the Scholar of the First Sin version of Dark Souls 2. And with that is going to come a very rabid section of the fan base if they do indeed discontinue the servers for the OG Dark Souls 2, because while Dark Souls 2 is already a game that is talked about in both a positive and negative light, probably the most polarizing game in the series, the Scholar of the First Sin edition of Dark Souls 2 is widely panned by the overall Souls community as the worst version of this game to play. And it's nothing on the tech end of the game. The 60 FPS is great. The graphics look a lot better. This isn't like when Dark Souls Remastered came out and people were disappointed because they didn't do enough. Scholar of the First Sin does too much in the fact that it completely changes how the game runs. New mobs are in different places. They completely replaced some enemies with other enemies in the game. It feels like a completely different game, and not one that a lot of people consider better than the original version of the game. They made it harder, but in a more cheesy way. It's a significant more of a slog type of game just because of the amount of NPCs that they added. There are a ton of new mobs out there that just make the game feel cluttered and makes it feel like you are always fighting in large group scenarios, and a lot of people don't like that. Not to mention gaining access to the DLCs got a lot more difficult. This isn't something that's just going to be auto-inputted into your inventory whenever you start a game like when you had Dark Souls 2 and the DLCs purchased. You actually have to go and find the keys to get into the DLCs, so that's another kind of growing pain that came with this version of the game. But we shall see. I will remain cautiously optimistic, hoping that the Dark Souls 2 OG servers will come back online, because I do know that that section of the fan base is extremely passionate about that port of the game. And having that section of the community be let down like that would be a crying shame. But I think the biggest and best thing to come out of these servers finally getting out of their offline limbo, 290 days, mind you, it took for all of these games to get back online. But now Elden Ring and future FromSoftware projects can be the entire focus, especially on the server end of things. I don't know how big of a team they split off to fix the Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 servers, but now those people can be reallocated to making Elden Ring and future titles even better. But just a reminder at the end of the video, Return to Lordran, January 6th through the 20th. Please be there. This is a wonderful time to be part of the Souls community. These events really do bring these games back to life fairly similarly to when they were back in their heyday. So I highly recommend taking part in these events, whether you're a veteran coming back for a fresh playthrough with co-op and PvP intact, or a new player looking to go through these games for the first time and get that full Dark Souls experience. I highly recommend them. But let me know down in the comments below if you will be attending Return to Lordran, or Return to Drangleic whenever it comes out, or Return to Lothric in the same year. 2023 is going to be a big year. Everything is back, baby, and hopefully we'll be getting Elden Ring DLC in this year as well. But if you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We will be doing a lot more Soulsborne and Elden Ring content moving forward. Until next time, Tana Crew, much love. Bye-bye.